All these wonderful, beautiful people have aged fantastically well. What is the secret to aging? Is it product? Is it makeup? Is it the fact that we have stylists, personal stylists? Or is it just in the genetics? Or is it lots of other things? Well, science is now saying that it's self-control. Yes, new science is showing us a study of how self-control can help you age better and look better in the future. So let's find out how. So it's saying here at Duke's University that self-control of thoughts, one's thoughts that is, and feelings and behaviours is one of the personality traits that makes a child ready for school. Now, we kind of know that because we say, hey, little fella, time to get up and going, grab your bag and let's go to school. So you have to have a bit of control to be able to kind of go, okay, mom, dad, whatever, and just grab the bag. Because not every child will do that at that age. But anyhow, as it turns out, they're saying, quote unquote, ready for life as well. It'll make you ready for life as well. A large study tracing or tracking even 1,000 people from birth through the age of 45 has determined that people with higher levels of self-control as children were aging more slowly. So if you're aging more slowly in general, you're going to look better. You're going to look more so by yourself and as yourself as when you were younger. So that this was in comparison to peers their age, and the bodies and brains, so the underneath, not just the masking of what everything we kind of judge people by, which is our looks, but the bodies and the brains were healthier and biologically younger too. So self-control gives the ability to contain one's own thoughts, feelings and behaviours, to work towards goals with a plan. Now, imagine if you can begin to change your ability to self-control. So many different things we can achieve in life. Of course, people then, as people, we realise, well, what is the reason why we put achievement up there on the ladder, really up at that top? Why do we need to achieve so much? Why do we need to earn so much money? Why do we need to go all the time, rat race? Well, we started, perhaps a lot of people have started with the point of view of, well, self-control in the first place. And in this study, it verifies that in one way, because it shows how people that are from socioeconomically, that's a big word, socioeconomically bigger and better households of wealth. In other words, if you get a better upbringing and intake of money into your household, in other words, if your parents have a better job or more income, and then you yourself will be more prolonged or progressed even towards going and doing what they're doing. Maybe not necessarily their actual job, but you'll be more invested in the fact that you'll become more educated, or you'll do and mimic their habits, essentially, because you'll go to bed as they tell you to go to bed, so you'll have to go to bed, and you'll get into that habit of going to bed and getting up early and doing the right things that generally gives success in life. But what is this success? That success is, of course, getting a good enough job, getting a good enough income, and being able to kind of live a life with spare money and spare time. But it's not just that. This self-control and this kind of diligence to be able to raise a child in that way also now scientifically is being said to help us with our health through our brains and our bodies, and that's how you'll end up looking better, not just now as a young person or even as a young adult, but into your mid-40s and beyond. It said in the study that, quote unquote, it's important to identify ways to help individuals prepare successfully for later life challenges and live more years free of disability. We found that self-control in early life may help set people up for healthy aging. Now, that word of disability, it's not a thing you think of when you're rearing a child. It's not a thing you think of when you are even as an adult, 20s, 30s, 40s. And hopefully it's not a thing that will ever visit your door. But in effect, aging is disabling you, because if aging stops us makes us become slower, and if we stop playing, say, sports or athletics, we often say when we're like 30 years of age, oh, I've slowed up, I'm not as fit, I haven't been doing that, and my body's growing older, and you just accept that. Many people accept that, but the reality is not necessarily the case. But you actually think that, and then of course you're thinking older, and if you're thinking older, you're going to behave in a different manner, and then eventually you're going to look differently. So if you start thinking, where does that come from? It comes from the brain. And that's what this is saying as well, that if you rewind back to when you're very, very young and you learn the really good habits, or if you're given the learning of developing these habits of having self-control, you're going to then get the ball rolling in the really, really best way possible, where your health, your brain, your body and yourself, you're going to feel better and be better as you age. Now, one of these ways of doing it is actually exercising. But you said self-control. Yes, I did, but it's when you have the self-control that you can choose to realize that exercise is a huge benefit to you, because exercise demands that you have self-control. And the benefits of that, the knock-on effects are this. Here's the aging thing again. It's saying age in reverse. The powers of a steady fitness routine are impressive. Regular exercise can help you build stronger muscles, stave off chronic illnesses, and make your clothes fit a lot better too. It's true. If you actually exercise, you're actually feeling better. You're getting more oxygen into your lungs. If we think of COVID-19, we're thinking the opposite is taking oxygen away, and there's all these complications. Your brain slows down. You have that brain fog. So reverse it around. Exercise, getting your lungs functioning, pumping fresh oxygen into your blood, gives you oxygenated blood, and allows the cells to reinvigorate themselves and to slow down their aging process, basically. So it allows us to do all these different things. Now, if you have to come from the point of view of self-control in the first place, we have to have a diligence towards our exercise. A lot of people just lose it with exercise. They become gym bunnies, and then they become completely crazed, where they're just totally fanatical about the gym, or fanatical about exercise and extreme exercise. Now, that's not good either, because on the other reverse side of things, that's going to do things that you're not supposed to do, and not many people realize that. But actually, extreme exercise and continuing to do extreme exercise is really bad for your brain, which again is going to age your body. And we've seen that with some athletes who look fantastic. Their body is supreme. It's just incredibly ripped, as they say. But then their face shows all the aging. So that's where you get the body and the face going, but it's coming from a point of view of self-control. And this is what we're beginning to see now. So if you can hold on to that control, make good planning decisions because of it, then you're actually going to be able to do the likes of exercising and be able to exercise, which will give you enough tiredness, which will give you enough time to get into the routine of good sleep, which will then give you enough time to eat at the right times, which then means your whole cycle of your body is going to be right bang bing on the money. So it slows down the aging process. The cells aging, look, we're all going to age. It's a reality. Human nature is we're going to grow and we're going to die. Shock horror to tell you that. But it's how you age and how you feel about aging. So if you're doing your exercise, you're going to have that control. You're going to reduce your belly fat as well. As another thing here. It's going to reduce the weight on the internal organs, where you have your lungs, your heart, your kidneys. Kidneys, again, COVID-19, kidneys in males was getting a lot of pressure, and males were then getting more susceptibility because it was affecting their kidneys, and it was coming from the lungs, of course, COVID-19. So that's another example of how we can stave off that and fight that as well. Exercise makes your heart rate be more efficient, because generally, if your heart rate is going faster, it's exercising, it's being pressurized. That's a good thing, because if over time and with consistent exercise, you're actually going to lower your heart rate. And a lower heart rate in general is going to make you be a more fitter and more economical human being. And that, of course, is going to stop the aging process. So see, all these things kind of work in tandem with each other. So it's about physically recognizing the need to move and do things, whilst also knowing that it's going to slow down things and make you feel and look better through your scientifically programmed head, brain, that is, body. And of course, where's it coming from? It's coming from self-control, because that's the new science. So there you go. I have to sway over here to give you room to say subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, please do keep well, keep safe, have a wonderful day.